Support Laneside. Get something cool. Hey everybody, and welcome to our first experiment in the drill room. As you can see from my setup here, we've got some new things we're trying out, and we want your feedback. So while we're testing this out, please bring any questions you have. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you'd like to know. And come along and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to start here with, as always, I am the Bearded Beast, Rob Johnson, wanting to welcome you to my Twitch channel. Right now we are green screened into my store, but in a couple of seconds we are going to be moving over to the drill room. Today we're going to look at the Radical Spy. I know a lot of you wanted to see the Knockout or the Paragon, and I wanted to make sure we tested out the settings before we dove into those balls because I know they are really exciting for everyone. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to share this stream that we've got started here over to Facebook, and hopefully you'll all be able to give us a join in here. Once again, this is Laneside Reviews. Welcome to the drill room. In a moment, we're going to be going over and taking a look at the Spy as we test out the new equipment. So let's see here. Doot. Share. I'm on Twitch. Radical Bowling Technologies Spy, not Spud, Spy, and I answer your questions, and we test some equipments. Yeah, like Squirrely Dan, appreciates yous. All right. We've got that posted across. Ooh, I can see myself. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. So in a moment, we're going to move over to the drill room. We're going to start in the on the layout desk, where we're going to pick one of the layouts off of Radical's drill sheet. From there, we're going to lay the ball out. We're going to talk a little bit about why we laid it out this way, what we're expecting to see out of it, share some stories, answer some questions. From there, we're going to go over to the drill cam, where we're actually going to punch this baby up. You're going to be able to see everything, literally the drill bit going right into the ball. And then from there, we'll put some grips in. We're going to put a switch grip in, and we'll answer whatever questions we can. So, let's move over to the layout table. So, okay, here we are on the layout table. Once again, if you do have any questions, anything you want to throw in the chat, I do have access to it right here. You can see on my phone, so I'll be able to answer stuff right as it comes up. If you catch this video on replay, don't be afraid to contact us at Laneside Reviews. You can go straight to lanesidereviews.com. It'll take you to our Facebook. Ask whatever questions you like, and we'll try to help out as much as we can. So, here's my Radical Spy. Now, a little backstory on this. Last year, as a national coach, my team went to a tournament that was very difficult. The topography on the lanes was, there was a lot of friction there, a lot of early friction. And one of the things I asked them to work on was playing with a plastic ball, being able to go and play different angles, and be able to practice at any time with something plastic to kind of mimic what we see there. But I can't ask people to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So first I drilled myself up a T-zone, and like most people, I noticed that while it was good for practicing on open play conditions when there's no oil out, when you try to play it for strikes, not having a core, not having a little bit of flair, it actually does make a fairly large difference. So once I got comfortable throwing my T-zone, I ordered myself up a Spy from Radical. You can see that baby right there. Now this is a modified core that we saw in the Incognito, wrapped in plastic with this really cool gold sparkle. Now you've heard me talk about gold sparkle before, you've heard Scoops talk about gold sparkle before. For some reason it's like the best hook additive ever. So with a core with some flair and a little bit stronger plastic, the Spy kind of gives you that ball that you can practice playing up the gutter, or when you have a lot of friction in the front and you just need the ball to get down lane. That's what this is for. I actually think, not just being in someone's bag, I actually really like this as a training tool, because there's no lane condition you can go on that's going to really affect this. I mean, you can go on completely dry and you'll still be able to throw this ball. You can go on wet and play it straight to the pocket. It's something that you can kind of play with to work on your directionality, your rotation, and get comfortable playing very far out on the gutter. So let's lay this thing out. Alright, we got the handy dandy Radical Spy drill sheet. Now, because this is for me, I'm going to be laying this out maybe a little bit differently than I normally would for a review, although we will probably review it as well. Normally, to go with all of our bowlers, I would probably go with something a little longer, like our maximum flip or our smaller hook on a resin ball, so that all of our bowlers could have something similar, some kind of layout that would be similar based on our paps. Me being low tilt, I need the most length, but with Wayne being speed dominant, aka rev lacking, maybe, we have to kind of find something in between so that everyone can review it. You'll notice on a lot of our reviews in the past, we tried to use one layout. Now we're kind of adjusting based on our bowler's abilities. So for myself, you would think I'd be up here. One of the reasons I've been working on this is to become a better bowler. Directionality, the way, not only the way that your swing plane is, but how you create revolutions off the ball can really impact the way your ball rolls. It impacts your tilt, and it impacts where your ball reads the lane. I've been working a lot on trying to raise my tilt, or at least being able to raise my tilt to get a little more motion down lane. But with low tilt, I can't, like I said, I can't practice on dry lanes. The ball sees it and just turns left as soon as it hits the lane. This will allow me to work on it no matter what lane condition I'm on. So I'm going to go with something that's going to be more versatile. So 45 might be a little early. I might look at going like 55. That's kind of in the middle of the hook range. Any bowler can use it, so Scoops can try it out and Wayne can try it out. Now normally I will go with a much shorter pin because I need the ball to retain axis rotation. In working on being able to increase my tilt, I'm actually going to go with a 4-inch pin to pap. That's going to give me a fairly large flare, and it is going to lose some tilt. And I'm going to need that to get this thing to respond down lane. For you who are going to ask later, for your lower tilt bowlers, you won't see a lot of layouts past 4 inches. In fact, 4 inches is pretty much the top of where you go. When you get in that 1 3/4 to 3-inch range, especially on asymmetric equipment, the core will naturally retain tilt, which means you can have a little bit more motion down lane. That's why you see a lot of my layouts, when I'm playing up the back of them, there'll be a lot of 90 by 2 3/4 or 3, or at most 3.5. And then they won't respond really quickly. I'll have them lay off maybe 35 degrees or 40 degrees of val angle, so it doesn't just use up all its energy as soon as it sees it and roll out, because I'm already using so much energy as a low tilt bowler. But I digress. So let's go with, why don't we see what 55 by 4 by 35 looks like. It's going to be fairly high, fairly strong core. 35 is going to be fairly fast response, but being plastic, it's not like it's going to turn left on me. Let's give it a layout. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to find our locator pin. That's the top of the core, CG, and the mass bias. It might be a white dot, it might be lettering. There's lots of different things that mark mass bias, but it'll always be 6 3/4 inches away from your locator pin here. Grab my Prosect from Turbo and get me, gonna need something to write with. Need a pencil. What do I do with it? Goodness, did I lose my pencil? In watching me stream, you're going to notice a lot that I lose stuff all the time. That's just the way it is. Ah, like my hair. Good heavens. Okay, so we're going to go from our locator pin here down through our mass bias. Make a line here. Everything we're going to measure off this. We're going to use the dual angle system, if you didn't realize when I was talking the other way. If you are not familiar with dual angle, I would suggest learning it if you want to understand layouts more. If you are familiar with VLS, there are converters, so you can plug in your 4x4 by whatever, or 6x2 by whatever, and it'll give you the dual angle as well, or vice versa. You can take a dual angle and it'll turn it into a VLS. So if there's any information on here that you don't understand because it's dual angle in your VLS, we can get it converted for you. So I'm going to put the spine on that line, put that in the middle, excuse me, of my locator pin, and let's see what 55 degrees looks like. Just put a little notch there, go from the center, line up my 0, boom, all the way down, and I'm going to mark out 4 inches. You see right there, that is going to be where my pap is located. So now then, we're going to go, make sure it's marked nice there. Put the spine up here, and we said we were going to go 35 degrees. I think that's probably not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. You know, they do these drill sheets for a reason, because they match most bowlers' needs. So you can see we've got that N, that magical N that we've talked about. This is our drill angle, 55. This is 4 inches, our pin to pap. And then this angle right here is 35-degree val angle. We're going to measure down our val, my pap. So my pap happens to be 1/4 down. Spine on the val line, mark it up to that 1/4 down. Boom. Run that across, and I am 7/8 of an inch. And that's going to give me, you see right there, this is where my center line is. Center line and grip line. Boom, let's draw it out here. Because we want to make sure, one of the problems I run into a lot is that when I lay my fingers out, it ends up being too close to the pin and I got to move it around because I don't want to void my warranty. Which I don't have to worry about with balls that have dynamic core because they don't have a locator pin. They've just got that little round mark on the top there. That's why I love those. They allow me a little bit more
just more precise layouts. I don't have to try to move things around and make them fit. So I'm going to measure down my span here. And then up. Now, one of the things we have been blessed with for years is all of us have the same hand size. So even though we lay out equipment for our bowlers, for our individual bowlers, in theory we can grab, any one of us can grab any ball out of anybody else's bag and just throw our thumb into it and throw it. I feel it's pretty lucky. It's allowed us to test a lot of stuff that, maybe we could only get one ball, or it was very old, like the Phantoms that we did a review on, where you just couldn't get 3 or 4 of them to do a whole bunch of different layouts with. So you can see here we've laid this out. It's where my thumb, my interchangeable thumb goes in. I have a 1/16 of an inch difference in between my fingers. So I got that marked out. Now, let's see how close this finger and this pin's going to be. Let's go to the inside. Boom! The center of that pin is 2 5/8 away from that corner, which means, if you think about it, your insert's going to be no more than an inch wide. So if you make sure, this is something you can do just quickly. I like to do this. I always like to make sure that I don't have to worry about if I drill that insert, I'm not going to void that warranty. Boom. You see, even if it was square, it would still be an inch away. It would still be an inch away. Zang. All right. So, let's see here. Now, don't have any questions yet, which is okay. Just want to go over really quickly here again. Drill angle. Drill angle does not matter on symmetric balls, but on asymmetrics, even a plastic one, it's important. It's okay, let me put that a different way, actually, because somewhere I can hear someone yelling at me. Drill angles on symmetrical balls are less important. They do have a slight impact on performance, which is why a lot of times I will tend to put a full layout on a ball. But it does not have as big an impact as on asymmetric balls, where the drill angle is definitely determining how quickly that ball is going to start, reading the lane, for lack of a better term, where it's going to start up on the lane. Your pin to pap, always extremely important. I mean, I think we've just talked about, we've talked about low tilt bowlers, how on asymmetric balls using a certain pin to pap will actually create more motion for them because it stores more energy for them. The same thing is true for people with a lot of tilt. People who have 20 plus degrees tilt, those longer pins, those 5-inch pins, 5.5-inch pins are going to help that ball lose tilt so it can start rolling properly. And then valve angle, very important. This valve angle is going to allow us to control just how quickly it's going to transition. If it's going to be a really slow down lane, if we've got like a 70, a 60 degree angle down here, or if it's going to be faster, like a 35 or a 40. And sometimes we forget low tilt bowlers a lot of the time can't use those wide valve angles because the ball just runs out of energy. So you'll see a lot of lower tilt bowlers won't throw pin down equipment. We call it pin, a lot of people call it pin down. I call it slower response layout. Because the ball will it'll basically just roll over the thumb forever. It'll never hook. So these numbers are very important. Using this to lay it out yourself is great. Working with a certified, competent driller and a coach to find out your information, your PAP, your tilt, your rev rate, is going to do more for you. Not to say that this isn't good, but by making sure that you know your rev rate, your tilt, and I don't mean like exact rev rate, I mean like low, medium, high, your tilt, your rotation, things like that, you're going to be able to get the most out of your equipment. So, just give me 1 second here, and we are going to move over to the drill cam. Alright, this is a first for me. We've got audio coming from behind me here. We're working on some new mics. So let's get this. Everyone, oh, darn it. Everyone remembers my bonus. Everybody remembers that sucker. Boop. Let's get a little bit back there. There we go. All right. Let's put this thing in my Lichco press here. First thing I do is I make sure I've got it zeroed. And let's get this thing zeroed. Make sure I put 0 and 0. Always, always, always center out your equipment before you drill. And put stuff on upside down, that too. It's you know, the important stuff. So, let's see here. So I always calibrate my drill press while I'm working here. I always want to make sure everything is straight. Just slightly. Alright. On zeros and zeros. Okay, let's start with our switch grip. So I'm going to put in a yellow here. I think that'll look pretty nice. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to set our thumb. I always go thumb first. It makes it easier for me to make sure I'm hitting my fingers okay. So let's see here. Let's go 1/4 reverse. This allows us, because we have slightly different pitches in our thumbs, the 1/4 reverse allows us to once again share equipment if we aren't able to get multiple pieces. I know Scoops is at a 0 now pitch, and the old guy is at 1/4 reverse, and I'm kind of in the middle. I'm about 3/16 with a little bit of lateral in it for my thumb. So, let's see what we do here. So we just drill that into the insert. And let's make sure this matches up nice. There we go. I like to make sure it's leveled up nice before I start. A lot of people will go to their 1.5 bit first, or even a 1-inch bit first to put these in. That just isn't. It's just a recipe to crack a ball, any ball. Too much heat in this cover is going to make it too rigid. It's also going to, because of the size of the hole, it's going to make the amount of pressure that's put on it just, excuse me, too much. So, let's start small. This is going to be loud, my apologies. Okay, so I just started with a 5/8 there. I took it down to approximately the depth I want to take the thumb to. Now, I think I'm going to dunk the thumb in this one. I'm going to take it a little deeper. Normally, your switch grip, for a lot of people, they would only take it to the depth of the switch grip, but for drilling here. But by actually going deeper than this, making a slight ledge and going deeper than this, you can really, really bump up the intermediate differential of the ball to levels that we were getting pre-weight hole banning. Now, because this is plastic and I'm going to need it to hook when I want it to hook, I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Rather than going a couple inches, I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go 3.5, probably 3.5 or 3.75 inches deep for this, so I can really blow up the differential and get this thing to flare. So we're at 3/4 now. G'day, sir. I see your piece here. What kind of drilling rig is that? This is a new one that I picked up over the pandemic. You all know that I love my Gelmac. It's actually right beside the press I'm on right now. But this is my new Lichco that I picked up. It's a full mill press with Ovalmatic jig on it. So it's I am very happy with it. I would consider it a very nice upgrade from what I had, even though I adore my my Gelmac. There's only so much I can do with it. So I hope that answered the question for you. Let's... go deeper. Alright, and this is really important because I forget this for myself all the time. Make sure, before you go in for your final pass, that everything is still lined up nice. Beautiful. This is the time where you can chip or crack the ball by trying to rattle it, trying to move it around too much. If you have too much rattle in your press. Now, here is my 1 3/8 bit. This is going to be my one that I dunk to the bottom of the hole before I go with my 1.5 bit. This will allow me to create a very tiny ridge for the switch grip to sit on, so it'll be more secure after we drill it. Now, even though that hole is bigger, you know, it's deeper, it has a spot for the debris to go, I do like to give it a little bit of a clean out so that it doesn't heat up the hole. It's all about keeping this nice and cool, chatter-free, give you your best, cleanest hole. Giggity. All right. Bada boom! Realest hole in the room. How you doing? Wow, that's like glass. Yeah, that is really sharp. Okay. Now, from here I know exactly how far my fingers go. So I'm going to take my Janelle pitch gauge here, and I'm just going to double check, make sure my fingers are on. Dead on the 3/16 and 1/4 from my switch grip. Boom. I always love using a razor or something against my bits to line them up. It just means that you can always make sure you get nice, clean right on the edge of the line. Somewhere Mark Buffa is yelling at me for not having thinner lines, and I probably deserve it, so that's okay. Alright, so let's move this sucker here. Lots of wood. Now let's see here. I have this right here. I got a little bit of a callus forming on this finger. So I'm going to take a little bit of the pitch away from here, just so it doesn't rub so much. So on the one side here we got 3/8 by 5/8 with a 31/32 bit. Let's see what we got here. Alright. There we go. And this way. Boom. Alright, let's put a hole in this thing. Let's put some finger holes in. Alright, so that's finger number 1 done. Let's jump over to finger number 2. So normally I've been using 3/8. This time I'm going to cut a 1/16 off. Just try to get a little bit of that rubbing off my finger. Let's see here. Go. Bada boom. Let's do this. Okay, so I've taken the fingers to just the depth of my inserts. Just to give you an idea here, there's an old, oh, that one's gross. Just to the depth of my inserts. That way, I don't take away, or I don't change the differential, the RG of the ball too much. The more that you bury these fingers, it's going to have the opposite effect, basically. I don't want to say basically. It's going to have an opposite effect to what you want. Drilling the thumb deeper. By drilling the fingers deeper, you raise the RG of the ball. It's going to be harder for it to spin up. It's going to go a little bit farther down. And potentially, you can really mess with your reaction. Two-handers, however, because there's no thumb, when they drill their fingers deeper, such as the Mo system or the VLS system, the 2LS system, that works as a thumb. That raises the intermediate differential to change the motion of the ball. Alright, so let's pull this off here, and we'll get moved over to the layout table again. Okie dokie, so we've got our spy here drilled with our large opening for our switch grip and our fingers, just to depth of our inserts. You can see that box that I drew right around when I was seeing. Boom, dead on it. We can tell here if we drop our pitch gauge in, our pin is 1 1/4 inches away from our hole, so we're safe for warranty purposes. Let's drop a switch grip in here. So we need our switch grip, and we're gonna need ourselves some sandpaper or screen. I see this happen all the time. People doing switch grips and not preparing the hole, not preparing the insert, and the thumb pops out. And people try to blame, everybody but themselves for not just doing a little bit of work, including myself. I've done it before, and this is why I always do it this way now. So we've prepared the thumb. We've got a little bit of grit on there. Now you can use your beveling tool, your electric beveler here, but I find the sanding circles don't reach. But if you use the turbo one to clear out the hole, sometimes you can actually make the hole too big, and your thumb will be too loose. So I just like to take a little bit, same thing with that sandpaper, and just give it a quick. On the other press there, you hear me say like it turned out like glass on the inside of the thumb. I need it to have just a tiny bit of something to grip to here. I'll grab myself some Turbo Slow Zip. Turbo Slow Zip. Please don't ever use the fast stuff in thumb hole, because you'll learn in a hurry that it won't go anywhere anymore. And I just put a line, just a very small line, just underneath where the cover stock meets the inner cover, or the inner core. Very small amount. You don't need a lot of glue, and the more glue you add, the more potential you have to actually create too much heat and get the ball to crack. Another thing I recommend when you're using colored, these lighter colored thumb inserts, it sometimes becomes hard to see the line that you're trying to line up as you push this in, because you need this always to be at the 6 o'clock position. So I just take a black marker and a stick here, and I just give myself a little, I don't know if you can actually see it there, I just give myself a little bit of a guide that I can see. There you go. Just so when I'm pushing it down, I can see pretty much where it is. Alright, so let's just... You'll notice I'm tapping it, but not hard. You don't need to jam this thing in all in one hit. You can actually control it better by just tap it. Tap it. Tap it. Oh, we'll cut that down in a second. Now, for our inserts, we need to clean up these holes with the bevel sander. I'm not using a lot of beveling there, but just enough so that it won't crack. And my inserts over here. I use oval. One, because it doesn't reduce the amount of or it doesn't change the amount of pitch you have in your fingers. 2, my fingers are fairly fat and flat, so they just fit better in the oval. Grab myself a pair of scissors here. I just lop off the one side. I'm not going to attach them yet. I just want to make sure it fits good. Perfect. That one's good. This one here. And make sure hole depths are the same, pitches are the same, so I can check them in the same hole. There we go. All right, moving into the home stretch. We're gonna cut down this thumb, this interchangeable thumb here, and then we'll come back and do the CLT on my fingers. And if you don't know what that is, then I will explain it. That'll probably be a good idea since I'm the one streaming, right? I'll throw that back up there, just making sure this is zeroed before I run around here. Alright. So this one's a little easier for me because it's just cutting down. I just need to make sure that this is centered. Center that to the drill bit. Make sure everything else is set to 0. 0 and 0. Oh, that's so loud. I'm gonna have to get the oil out. And I got my awesome master plug cutter here, courtesy of Matt Lombardi. Thank you very much. It has gone to very good use. Let's get this thing cut down. Okay, so we'll just get this thing out of the press again. We're in the home stretch. Okay. Now, inevitably, when you cut these down, you end up with some kind of junk. It's like melted, pushed in plastic. I think I have to get my my thing sharpened again, just to make sure it's okay. But we just pulled that piece out and we're just going to deburr it really gently. Might even go get my knife for this. Yeah, I'll probably use my knife for this. Where did my knife go? Who said I could have a knife? Good heavens. You want to see something unsafe? It's me and a knife. And yet here we are looking for it. Looking in my awesome turbo accessory bag for all sorts of interesting little tools. To do was not in there. Huh. has lost that tool. Well, that is interesting. Where done did it go? I know it's here. This is why we can't have nice things. A couple of larger burrs I want to get off, but I don't want to cut the switch grip at all. I should be using a paring knife. That's what I usually use on this. A nice paring knife. Flexible, really easy to control. Not at all scary, like Rob with a knife. That little piece there, I'm gonna file off with a little round hand file. There we go. Now, once again, you could use your bevel sander for this. Probably better for it. I just like the little hand finishing touch. This allows me to get rid of any burrs, anything I feel on the top. It also lets me get it really close to the top of the ball. Because I'm low tilt, sometimes the ball will roll over my switch grip, so I want to make sure that my switch grip doesn't affect the roll of my ball at all. There we go. That's nice. All right. Boy, it really bothers me that I can't find that knife. I don't know how the heck I lost it. Here somewhere. Probably threw it on the floor. I threw it on the ground! Yeah, something like that. Let's just give this a nice... Now that I've gotten the big burrs away, this should be easy to get the small burrs away. Now I went 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch on my thumb when I drill it out. I've noticed a couple of things since I started doing that. One, I never have a worry about my thumb properly fitting in the ball. It generally just drops in beautifully and clicks to lock. The other thing is I have not had a ball crack from the thumb since I started doing that. Keeping the heat lower and going in little by little bit really saves your cover stock. So let's figure out here how the thumb looks. Grab a thumb out. See if we get it. Ooh. Beautiful. Nice. Really nice. Okay. Now, last thing I'm going to do on this, I have a messed up hand. I complain about my injuries. You guys know that. One of the things I started doing a little while ago was adding a little bit of an offset to my finger inserts. 12 degrees from the center of my grips. If I could figure out where I marked that up. Wow. Okay. Oh, down there. All right. Couldn't see it because of the sparkles. So what I'm doing now is I'm drawing a new center line, splitting my grips. You can see there, I have an offset. And I'm going to make my lines there. So now when I put my inserts in, instead of being flat to the ball, like flat to the ball as in straight up the thumb, it's actually going to be set offset. That allows me to get my hand a little flatter against the ball because of the way that my fingers are, the amount of away pitch I have, or sorry, the amount of reverse pitch, and just for comfort. So I'll take my 25 here, and I'll line it up so that it is flat with this line. I'll take my 3, Yes, I have 25 and 3 fingers. They swell depending on the time of year, but there we go. And from here, what I will do is I will just give these a glue in, and this ball will be ready to throw. Ooh. Yeah, it's going to feel nice. And you can see, I can turn it enough there, that line, the line here, that I drew between on that offset, see, it parts my fingers perfectly. So my hand is flat against the ball right now. And you can see there's no gapping. Really nice and comfortable. Okay, so it seems like drilling the spy went pretty well. I appreciate everyone watching. Let's head back to the computer area.
Okay. So yeah, that was drilling the spy. We went 55 by 4 by 35. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this format. Would love to hear what you think of it, and if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave comments for us wherever you see this video. We'll do our best through social media to answer any questions that you have. And as this goes, we're actually going to be bringing in Scoops and Old Guy Wayne. We now have a 3-camera setup that we'll be able to do full interviews and kind of look at some of our reviews. We'll maybe be able to go back through some of them, or just look at some video and we'll all be able to talk. So once again, thank you very much for coming to the drill room today, and check us out at lanesidereviews.com. It'll bring you to our Facebook. Any questions you have, all of our videos, everything will be posted there. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a show. So until next time, guys, we'll see you laneside.